Have you ever started a game that everyone calls a masterpiece, and somehow you get bored? This is what happened to me with The Witcher 3. I knew the game was supposed to be great. I knew people loved the story, the world, the quest, everything. But in the beginning, I just wasn't feeling that. I was just walking around, talking to people, riding a horse, following tracks, listening to dialogues, a lot of dialogues. And my brain kept waiting for the game to finally start. But the game had already started. Maybe I was just the one who wasn't ready for it. Maybe when you're used to short format media, everything slow starts feeling suspicious. A quiet scene feels empty. A long conversation feels too long. A game that asks you to walk, listen, and pay attention feels like it's wasting your time. But then you close the game, open your phone, scroll for 2 hours, and somehow that doesn't feel like wasting time. That's the weird part. A slow game can make you feel bored after 20 minutes, while scrolling can eat your whole night and leave almost nothing behind. So maybe the problem is not just the game got slower. Maybe our brains got worse at waiting. And I don't mean that in a dramatic phones are destroying humanity way. I scroll too. Everybody scrolls. But I think we need to be honest about what scrolling teaches us. It teaches us that if something doesn't hit instantly, we can skip it. If a video slows down, skip. If a person takes too long to make a point, skip. If a story needs setup, skip. And after doing that every day, of course a slow game feels hard to enter. Because a slow game doesn't beg. It doesn't panic when you get bored. It doesn't throw a new thing in your face every 5 seconds. But now, staying with one thing is actually difficult. That's why I want to talk about slow games. Not because they are perfect, not because video games are automatically healthy, but because some games do something most modern content refuses to do. They make you wait. But the waiting might be exactly what you need. But before talking about slow games, we need to talk about why scrolling is this addictive. Because scrolling is not satisfying in a normal way. Most of the time, you're not even enjoying it that much. You're just looking for the next thing. Maybe the next video is funnier. Maybe the next one is more interesting. Maybe the next one gives you that little hit you were looking for. So you keep going, and never tells you, okay, that's enough. There is always another one, another video, another opinion, another drama, another random thing you didn't even ask for. And that's what makes it dangerous. Not because every short video is bad, but because the right is too easy. You don't have to choose. You don't have to commit. You don't even have to care. You just move your thumb and something new appears. And after a while, that becomes the default. The moment something is a little slow, you feel like leaving. The moment there is silence, you want noise. The moment something asks for patience, you start feeling uncomfortable. And that's exactly why slow games feel harder now. Because they don't give you that escape button every 5 seconds. They don't instantly change when your attention drops. They don't keep throwing new things at you just to keep you awake. They make you sit with the moment, and at first, that can feel boring. But maybe boredom is not always a bad sign. Maybe sometimes boredom is just the first layer, the part you have to pass through before you actually start paying attention. Because when you stop chasing the next thing, you start noticing the thing in front of you. And that is where slow games begin to work. With scrolling, the reward comes first. You swipe and something happens. You swipe again and something else happens. You don't really bid anything, you just keep receiving. But with a slow game, it's not like that. The game asks for something before it gives something back. It asks for time, it asks for patience, it asks you to stay. And that's why the reward feels different. Because you didn't just watch the moment, you arrived there. That's why simple quest can stay in your head longer than 100 videos. Not because it was louder, not because it was more shocking, but because you gave it attention. And when you give something attention, it starts to matter. That's what scrolling often removes. It gives you moments before they have time to become memories. A slow game does the opposite. It lets the moment breathe, it gives it space, and maybe that's why it feels slower at first. Because it's not trying to win you immediately. It's trying to make you care, and caring takes time, of course. And this is the moment where slow games start doing something different. At first, you seem impatient. You're playing, but part of you wants to check your phone, do something else, just quickly, just for a second. And that's when you realize how automatic it became. The game didn't do anything wrong. It just left a little space. And your brain immediately wanted to fill it. But if you don't leave, if you say through the small discomfort, the pace starts to feel normal. You start waiting for the game to impress you. You start listening. You start noticing the mood. You stop asking when does it get good. And slowly you understand. This was the game. Not the big moments coming later. Not the cutscenes. Not the reward screen. This. The walking. The waiting. The silence. Time you spend inside the world. That's what scrolling takes away from us. Not just intention. The ability to let something slowly become interesting. Now, I don't want this to sound like I'm saying delete your phone and become a monk. That's not the point. And I'm not saying every game is good for you either. Some games are just the same problem with better graphics, constant rewards, constant noise, constant fear of missing out. You finish playing and still feel like your brain was being pulled around. So the point is not games good, phone bad. The point is right. Some things make your attention shorter. Some things make it deeper. And you can't feel the difference. You know when you're playing something and your hand keeps reaching for your phone? That's usually a sign that game is not the only thing fighting for your attention. But when a slow game finally pulls you in, you forget to check. Not because the game forced you, but because your attention stopped running away. And the feeling is rare. The feeling of not needing the next thing, just being okay with what's already in front of you. That's what I mean by detox. Not a magic cure, not a self-improvement, just a break from the constant need for more and for comfort. So when I say detox your brain with video games, I don't mean video games are some magical solution. I mean maybe your brain needs a different pace, something that doesn't reward you instantly, something that doesn't disappear the moment you look away, something that asks you to stay a little longer than you normally would. Because at first, that can feel boring, but maybe boredom is not the enemy. Maybe boredom is just the door, the moment before you start paying attention again. And I think that's why slow games matter. They don't fix you, they don't make you smarter, they don't turn you into a better person, but they can remind you that your attention doesn't always have to be dragged around. You can choose where it goes, you can choose to stay, and when you do, a game that feels slow can suddenly feel peaceful. A world that feels empty can suddenly feel alive, and the moment that would have made you reach for your phone can become the reason you keep playing. So maybe the next time a slow game feels boring, don't quit immediately. Give it time. Let your brain calm down. Let the world open. Because maybe the game isn't wasting your time. Maybe it's giving it back to you. Thank you. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to subscribe and like and comment, please.